girlfriend of mine gave me his telephone number in Munich, where he was living at the time. And I phoned him and...
but that's my girlfriend as well. But anyway.
We share. So I flew over and saw Freddie and played him the songs and some videos and let him read the script and
I bit the bug.
Bit the bug.
Dave, what was it about Freddie that made you decide to ask him to do the tracks on the album?
Well, Time is a very special project for me, and I wanted to, and it covered all spectrums of music, and I wanted to work with people who I admired and whose voices and performance would suit the characters that I wanted to portray in the concept album.
Yeah, you obviously have a great admiration for Freddie's work.
Yes, I have, yeah. Ever since I actually saw you perform in Hyde Park, I think it was 1979. It's all right, Freddie, I'll go back to the 60s, so you can feel quite safe.
Freddie, a lot of people must ask you to record. What made you agree to this particular project?
Well, it was the way it was approached, actually, because, I mean, I get a lot of approaches to do films and things like that. And I remember when I first met David, I mean, it was like, I liked the fact that it was like on one-to-one basis. Yeah. And rather than his entourage or his organisation calling my organisation, it was those kind of things I've done. But after having met him, he sort of said, I like the one-to-one approach. And I said, well, that's the way you got me, because, I mean, he just sort of phoned me up and said, what would you like to do? Time? And I'd read about it, and I said, well, come on over. I was in Munich at the time. Yeah. And he said, look, and the way he approached me was great. He just said, look, you don't have to be committed to anything. You can listen to the tracks, I'll fly over. And if you don't like them, fine. And that's the way. And I love that approach. I really did.
What's Dave like to work with as a producer?
Oh, he's awful. He doesn't do anything anyway. No, he's like the overseer. I mean, it's like it's not so much. He's not so much a producer. He's he's more than that. He's like the overseer. Yeah. He was trying to get this whole thing together with all kinds of different artists, and it's very, very difficult. I remember when he approached me, it was like, look, and, you know, Olivier's done this, Cliffy's done that, and Dionne Warwick's done that, Cliff Richard's done that, and Julian Lennon's done that, and I just said, well, you've come a bit late. Yeah. But I think, I mean, I might be wrong in saying that, but I think in his mind, I mean, he kept, like, the title track Time, because I think he was sifting, basically, and that's the way I think, and to find the right medium for the right person. And I know when he first approached me, the track Time, the title track, was not really considered. I mean, it was a track that I did, was In My Defense, and there was another track, and I said, okay, In My Defense, yes. But after I did In My Defense, I think he kind of liked it, and then suddenly I sort of said, oh, I think I can do something with the title track. I mean, it takes time, and I think he sort of gained more confidence in what I was doing, because I'm a beast in the studio anyway. So like,
he's not actually.
Olivier is just magic. I mean, you know, just when you hear his voice, you just want to sort of put a song next to it, you know.
Are you a fan of Lord Olivier?
Well, who isn't? Don't be silly.
Dave, did you ever think of asking Freddie to be in the show?
Yes, I did actually. I think I asked him when I was in Munich.
Yeah, well, I said no.
And he said he wasn't disciplined enough.
Not disciplined enough?
Yeah. Well, I can't.
He's very disciplined in the studio, but I can understand what he means.
It's a different kind of thing. I just can't. I'm not good at doing. Well, number one, I can't do matinees because I mean I don't get up before that. But I mean, it's just. I think my voice would not hold. It's a different kind of singing. I mean, I do what I consider a kind of rock and roll type of singing, which, well, it's basically my voice. I mean, I can scream beautifully for 3 days and then I drop dead. So I mean, I think a theatre environment would just not.
But some of your videos are so theatrical. Do you not feel that you'd like the challenge?
Being theatrical doesn't mean that you have to sort of base your life around the theatre. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you can be operatic. You could be operatic, but you don't have to be an opera singer. Yeah, sure. There's a different element, which I'm saying.
You must be the only rock and roller to have actually danced with the Royal Ballet at the Colosseum. How did that come about?
Oh, how did you know that? Actually, a good question. Exactly the same way as how David approached me. I mean, a principal ballet dancer from the Royal Ballet. You know, Wayne Eagling just had he had a big gala to do, and he wanted different artists, and he just approached me and said, "Would you like to do it?" I mean, having seen Queen videos and things, he thought I could dance beautifully. But when I actually did start dancing with the Royal Ballet, they found out, you know, no, it was great, because suddenly they realized that I couldn't really dance exactly. I mean, because I can never be choreographed. That's the thing. I mean, I just can't. If they tell me a step to do, I could learn it. But the moment they say, okay, take or roll, I just can't do it. I mean, it's just I'm just born that way. You know, I just do spontaneous things. So they realized that I couldn't really do the same step twice. So in terms of the ballet, every time I did anything, they realized it was all wrong. So they just lifted me up all the time. Because which is great. I learned a lot from that. So if you can't do a step, they go, don't worry about it, we just lift you up. And once you're up there, you can't do a thing. They do all the movements, and you just get passed from one to the other.
Outrageous. Dave, what was it like to work with such an extrovert character like Freddie Mercury?
Well, actually, to be perfectly honest, I thought it would be impossible, because he is such a perfectionist and such an extrovert performer. But I found him the absolute professional to the extreme, which I thought I was the worst, where everything had to be perfect. But he would give 100% of himself, and he doesn't like starting work until sort of 6, 7 in the evening and working till 6. But that 12-hour period, he gave a performance. Every take was a performance, giving 101%. No, and I've worked with Stevie Wonder and, well, by the album with everybody. And I think Freddie's the only performer I've actually worked with that every take is like a performance in front of an audience of thousands.
That's very nice of you. I tell you, this is no cheap queen you're working with.
How long did you go
No,
together?
and I mean that, and it's very rare, because most performers go in and after 2 or 3 takes they lay back or they hold back, but he gives his all until he drops, and
I thought everybody did that. But
no, they don't actually,
No,
it's a magic performance. I mean, I'm a great lover of people like Edith Piaf, which is totally away from what you call today's commercial music, and the Jennifer Holidays. And I always remember when we first met, I said to you, he said, "But how can I do this song?" This was in my defence, and I said to him, "Well, I want a cross between Edith Piaf, Jennifer Holiday, and Shirley Bassey." He said,
well, do you know what I said to him? I said the moment he said that to me, I just said, I have all their dresses, I can do it perfectly.